I'm Alex, and I am a digital producer at Gray, and I am a lesbian. I came out my senior year of college. I had a best friend who I was roommates with throughout college, and over the years we became very close, and towards, I guess, the more later years of college, it kind of grew on me, and I started to have all these feelings for my roommate, and started to kind of also have jealousy, like weird jealousy tendencies with like her and her boyfriend. I just like didn't really understand what was going on. Long story short, I was kind of forced to come out. Basically, I came out, I'm trying to think, like I first came out to my best friend who went to college, just to give you some context, I have a best friend in college who was my roommate, and then I have a best friend from like home who just happened to go to college with me. So I told my best friend from home that I was, at the time I said bisexual, but eventually I came to be more, I guess, comfortable with it as years went by, so now I identify as a lesbian. But at the time, I remember I was in the East Village in front of one of the many like dance bars out there, and I was inebriated, and I called up my best friend, and I was like, hey, I think I'm like bisexual, and I don't want you to like judge me for anything. I know like we both grew up in Chicago, and grew up in a very like Catholic conservative background, and I was like you can't tell anybody, and like I don't like want you to think of me differently. I just don't know what this exactly is, but I think that's why I've had all these like weird jealousy tendencies about my roommate. And she's like surprisingly at the time I like thought she was gonna be like, what? Like no way, like this is kind of weird. But like shockingly to me, but like shockingly in like a great way, she was like, dude, that's it? And I was like, yeah, dude, that's it. And she's like, I don't care. And I was like, oh, all right, well, like this is awesome. And I was kind of crying at the same time. And she's like, I can't believe, you didn't feel like you could tell me this. Like, that's no problem. I was like, whoa, like that's cool. So that's like the first person I ever told, because I feel like growing up, I kind of always had a feeling, but I never really acknowledged it until like I actually had like deep feelings for someone. And then the next person I guess I told in my coming out process was my actual roommate, who like didn't understand why I was getting so upset all the time whenever she had like her boyfriend over. And I basically like said, you know what? I feel like I made it so dramatic. It was like meet me in the Great Lawn in our quad. Meet me there at like 3:00 on the benches. And like when she came to like meet me, like I was like sit on the other end of the bench, like I'll tell you from like over here, from over here. She's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'll tell you from over here, and then like I just don't want to see your reaction. And I was just like, I think I'm in love with you. So she was like, what did you just say? I was like, I think I'm in love with you. She's like, Alex, what are you trying to say? I was like, I think I'm in love with you, and I'm like bi or something like that. And she was like, after all this time, like, of, like, so much, like, I don't know, of like fighting and like weird like weird like tendencies of you being upset with me, and I never knew why, and this is the only reason why. Like, we could have got, like, you could have told me this like way before, and we could have been like over it. Like, why did you do it? Like, why did you like wait so long? And I was just like, I don't know how you were gonna react, and like this is obviously about you, and like you're not into women, so it was pretty hard for me. And she's like, obviously we're still gonna be like best friends, and yes, I'm not into women, but like, you know, we're gonna have to get past it, you know, and you can't act out anymore. So she was actually very accepting of it, which was great, but at the same time, like, I still, you know, I was still like very interested in her, and I couldn't really get over like her not requiting this love back to me. So we're not friends anymore, but honestly, like, I honestly just think that everything happens for a reason, and it brought like a lot greater opportunities or like things to come into my life. So that was the senior year of college, and actually I was going through a lot. So that happened. I came out, and actually at the same time, my father suddenly died of a heart attack. So when I graduated from college, I was like kind of in a bad place, and like my first reaction was like, I gotta get out of here. And I was like, where are all the gays? So I was like, I want to move to San Francisco because that's where everybody is, and I feel like that's a great place to come out and like, you know, like get my shit together, if I'm allowed to say that on camera. But so I moved out to San Francisco. I got a internship in advertising, and it was like a whole new world. I just like remember going to like my first lesbian bar, like out there, or like lesbian like party, and it was like a utopia. It was like heaven. I walked in, and like seeing so many girls just like making out with each other and like being like, and it was just only girls. It like, you definitely know they're a lesbian or like they're into girls, was like insane to me. Like I couldn't comprehend it at the time. Like I was like, this actually happens out in the world? Like, what? and so yeah, no, and then like, I think coming out is such a process, because like it's just being like taking so many steps of just being comfortable like with so many different things. Like, so going out to a bar was like a big step, and then going up to girls at the bars is a step, and I feel like that's a step I'm still trying to figure out. And but yeah, no, and then like as far as kind of coming like trickling down to like all my other friends and like coming out to them, I felt like I kind of just came out in a way where I came out to the friends who I felt most comfortable with, and like kind of were more had a more open perspective on things. And then as far as like in the workplace, like I didn't feel comfortable for a while to like be open and gay in the workplace. So actually I honestly feel like I didn't really feel that till like maybe like 2 or 3 years later, or like 2 years later, since it was so new. And it's weird because I was in San Francisco, and obviously San Francisco is a place where it's very queer friendly, but I feel like even though you're placed in that environment, like you really have to be ready for it and feel comfortable with yourself. And I guess when you're coming out as well, one of the biggest steps of coming out is coming out to your family. So I have a cousin out in San Francisco who I told when I first got there, and kind of told him the story of like why I came out there. And then as far as immediate family, I actually just came out to my brother like a year or so ago, and we were in a car like on the way to like, I want to say like the airport, like right before I had to come back to New York. And I was like, I have to tell you something, like please, like, don't get like overreactive, and I just like please don't, like, because my brother is very conservative as well, and he's very I don't want to say like he's kind of closed-minded, but that kind of puts him in a bad light. But like he's not receptive to very, like, I guess, like more out there things. So I just kind of prepped him. I was like, don't judge me, like, please, like, don't tell mom, like, I'm not ready for that. And he's like, can you just tell me what's like going on? And I was like, I'm gay. And he was like, gosh darn it, I thought you killed someone. Like, can you not, like, make that so dramatic? And I was like, I mean, I didn't know how you were going to react. He's like, okay, did you tell mom? And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, okay, well, is that it? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, me and my brother, like, we're not that close, so that was kind of just like, all right, cool. And then he dropped me off at the airport. And that was pretty much it. And then I actually just came out to my mom a couple months ago, and it's been, I guess, 4 years since I came out. So obviously I was actually waiting for her to heal after my father died to, like, kind of just put that on her as well. So a couple months ago, I went out to dinner with my mom at a Greek restaurant, and I was kind of, like, tipsy from the wine, and I was trying to, like, and, like, we were being very, like, it was a very, like, close and, like, intimate conversation. I was like, I gotta do it. It's, like, the right time. Like, we're both a little, like, buzzed from the wine, and I felt like I was in a good place of my life of, like, this is it. Like, there's never, like, a perfect time, but this is a good time to do it. So I was like, Mom, I'm into women. And she was just like, wait, what? And I was like, I'm into women. I'm a lesbian. And she's like, you're into women? I was like, yes, I'm a very big lesbian, and I'm into women. And she was like, are you sure? Like I had this friend in high school who, like, was really into me, but it could have just been a phase. I was like, no, I'm, like, seriously, like, a lesbian. I've always been, like, into women. Like, it's definitely not a phase. And she was like, well, don't tell anybody that. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, so people are getting, like, harassed and killed for, like being out. And I was like, no, it's fine, Mom. Everybody knows. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, even people at work know, like, all our cousins know, like, Justin knows, which is my brother. Like, it's going to be okay. And then she was like, okay, like, that's fine. Are you going to start dressing like a boy, though? And then I was like, well, so, like, it's funny. So, like, at the time, so, like, I dress more androgynous now, but at the time, I dressed more, I guess, girl-like or feminine. And I didn't really, like, plan on being more androgynous, but, like, as you grow older, you kind of, like, fit into, like, what you feel most comfortable with. And, like, today, I do feel most comfortable, like, being more androgynous. I feel like it's always, like, who I've been. I just feel like it's coming out and, like, becoming, like, who you are and who you're comfortable with is just, like, part of the journey. So at the time, I didn't, like, plan on, like, being all androgynous, but, like, so I was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. But, like, honestly, like, she's seen me, like, cut my hair and, like, dress more like this, and it's definitely, like, an adjustment for her, but she's not being, like, judgmental or anything. So it was, like, a nice relief to, like, hear my mom be like, okay, like, I really thought she was going to shun me for, like, years and be like, don't talk to me, like, come back to me, like, when, like, you're into men again, and, like, but she was, like, completely cool with it. So that was, like, such a relief to, like, hear her say that, and, like, kind of, like, nice to hear that, because I feel like ever since then, like, I could talk about anything with her. And actually recently I just I entered a relationship with someone, and it's, like, in this almost a year now. I feel like it's been, like, 6 or 7 months, and I feel like it's probably, like, the most amazing thing that's, like, happened to me, like, in my adult life. Like, it's pretty awesome. I don't know. But, and I actually met her at work, and she doesn't work here anymore, but just to make that clear. But yeah, no, I feel like, you know, my coming out story, like, I feel like a lot of people's coming out story, it starts off, like, kind of in a dark place, but, like, now, like, 4 years later, like, I'm, like, so happy in my relationship, and I feel, like, very comfortable around my coworkers, and she truly loves me for, like, who I am and, like, everything I stand for. Wow, I can't believe I'm crying. But, yeah, no, I'm, like, super happy now, and, yeah, I don't know. That's my coming out story. That was weird.
I like that style. Let's go back and do it again.